Well, hey guys, a little update. Started welding the frame on just this side. Then my welder decided to croak. I've had this welder for about 15 years, so been some time. But in the meantime, I pulled the skid plate just real quick because this is a manual frame and the automatic is a little different. There's a few things a little different. I don't normally do frame swaps on Jeeps, and I knew there was a difference even in years. And one is the steering box mount, which I'm just going to use an old school steering box, and the other is how automatic transmission mounts on these frames. It mounts in a different spot. The old mounts are pushed further forward here. Skid plate goes forward. Just something I didn't know. I'm sure a lot of you other Jeep guys know. And then I started welding a piece of plate. Just cut the piece of plate like that. Got it welded to the frame. I even stiffened up the mounts here. I'm even going through and stiffening up the body mounts. And also re-welding the coils brackets and the shock brackets. They're just, the welds weren't that good in this area, so I re-welded them. Be a little example, and then I had to put a washer in. But I mean, some of that weld wasn't even penetrated on that side. This doesn't even look that pretty, but it doesn't have to be pretty. It needs to be functionable. But I'll probably go over this area here too and get it kind of cleaned up a little bit. I did have a crack on the other side, which same crack here. Had to put the plate on there because of the metal being rotten right there. So I figure we'll stiffen that up and make this thing 100%. I got in here with a mic and measured the thickness, and it only gets thin in this spot here, all the way up into here. It gets thin, so that's why I'll just put a plate there. The edges aren't thick, it's just right there in the middle for some reason. Maybe just where they bent it, stressed the metal, got thin. I'm not 100% sure. That's the lowest point on here, but the rest of the frame is solid in there. It's thick, so I just mic'd it where I could, and probably makes sense. But cool. I wanted to give you an update and show you one more thing. After I pulled the skid plate off, I found this. Look at that nice little crack in the transfer case. Didn't even see that because that skid plate covered everything up. So I'm gonna have to find a new housing or a transfer case or just a donor. I do have a few Jeeps sitting around here, but it's given me different numbers, so I gotta pull one and look, because I think automatic is different than a manual. But maybe you guys can give me some input on that.